How are you?
You are a series regular now.
Yes.
Excellent. Congrats. How are you gonna fit in? Are you gonna fit in more into the story? Let me get some solo yo-yo stories.
I
some
hope
more backup,
so.
backstory.
Yeah, I hope so. Definitely. I mean, I already felt like part of the family, but this just makes it really special.
How does taking the story to space really change what your characters are going through this season?
Well, I mean, we've never been in space before. I mean, that changes. Well, imagine if you were in space. That would change everything. No, yeah, I mean, we're out of our element.
Yeah.
You know, let me put it to you like that.
And it changes in story and also in set and everything, right? Or what we were accustomed to, the sets and everything are different. So as an actor and as characters, we're all finding our way, which is kind of cool because we're supposed to be lost. So we're kind of lost ourselves trying to find whatever it is we're searching.
How has it been for you guys essentially joining the cast, midstream, as not being there on the ground floor, but coming into something that was already established? Was that a different dynamic for you with the rest of the cast?
Well, yeah. I mean, for me,
I know it's been years now already. But.
It's been a few years, but it's still just trying to catch up with everything. I mean, even now, come on, it's just catching up with stuff now is tough. But I mean. Just jumping on that moving train, it was tricky. It was tricky because they were like, oh yeah, when so-and-so walks into the room, you have to, I'm like, wait a minute, there's like 12 people on the cast, which one is which? And just getting the names right and getting their storylines down to interact with them, because you're supposed to know some of these people. For me, it was a little tricky.
That last storyline was just gut-wrenching for you. For both of you? Are things going to get a little lighter and happier this year? I mean...
We're in space.
But I mean, obviously, like seeing your child who you had lost, that was just gut-wrenching. So
that was...
how was that?
How was it?
It was a good storyline. It was a terrible storyline.
Well, yeah, but I think we enjoy it when they lift the bar that high for us, I mean, we hadn't gotten such a profound story or moment between each other, and I think even individually I haven't had a storyline that heart-wrenching, and I don't know if Matt had. I don't think so. I was happy to be able to have such a dramatic storyline last year and at the end, but maybe hopefully this year we'll get a little bit more of the comedy into Turtle Men and Yo-Yo.
Seeing Mac go through that, did that change your character's perspective on him at all, or bring you closer?
Oh, I'm sure, yeah. Well, we're going to see that. I think this season has a lot to do with that for Mac and Yo-Yo.
Man, the other day, on set, she goes, look, if your character goes through anything else, Yo-Yo is out of here. I was like, what?
I was like, it's your turn to save me. Go on, yeah.
Oh, my God.
Following up on
difficult.
Follow up on there, is there going to be any residual feelings from the framework about your daughter? Are you going to hold on to it?
I think there has to be. There has to be. I mean, you can't go through something like that. I mean, look what happened with Fitz's character. I'm not giving away anything. I mean, he obviously, coming right out of it, he obviously had some residual effects from it. And my character will as well. It's just, I think people handle things differently, like in real life. So yes, absolutely. I think for both of us. Yeah.
Did you guys like the way the season was structured with the multiple storylines, or do you as an actor like working on one kind of really big long narrative over the course of the season?
Well, I wasn't a series regular yet, so it was different for me because I came in and out, so I didn't feel it maybe as a full thread of a storyline for my character, but I enjoyed it. I rather want one storyline, but I enjoyed it.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Coming in and out like that, was it more difficult for you because there were 3 different segments?
Yeah.
That's it? That's all I'm saying? You can like a paragraph on again.
He's interviewing me now. For you. Now, was it easier or more difficult since you had a full storyline?
I like how it was broken up.
You like the broken up?
I mean, I like it, both ways, but I like how it was broken up. Yeah.
And you had some real heavy lifting this year, acting wise. You know, I think more so than previous seasons. Is that easier for you because it gives you something more to bite into, or is it more challenging because it's more emotional all the time? I guess.
I like the challenge. I like the challenge. I'll answer that first because I know when the writers write something. Oh boy, let me tell you something. If they write something and I, oh wow, this is. I mean, when we were writing it, we were in the room and people were crying. You know what kind of pressure that is for an actor? I mean, now you got to deliver. It's like they're just writing it and crying. So now you really have to bring it to fruition.
Embody the words.
Yeah. So, and they told me that every single time. And I was like, oh, great. But I like that challenge. I like that challenge. And as an actor, easier. I don't know. It helps me get into the character more. It helps me learn more about my character. Because I think with anybody in life, whatever it may be, you learn more about yourself through the conflict that arises.
With your relationship now as actors for both of you, do you have a preference on would you rather than be together? Would you rather be conflict? Would you rather than be apart? Is there a preference on how your characters would approach that?
Good to say it.
No, I love our relationship. I think the characters show a really mature and respect. We really admire and respect each other, which is, I think, are a little bit of a reflection of how Henry and I are, just as people. So I love that, but the conflict always, as he said, challenges always make you dig deep. Because you sort of have to be more vulnerable and fall into emotions and find the emotions of your characters when there's conflict. So I would love for there to be conflict, but I don't want the conflict to separate it. I just separate them. I just wanted to challenge them. Yeah. Sort of like what they went through in the framework, where it was a huge challenge to recognize each other or not, but it ultimately brought them closer.
I agree.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, guys.